What's going on, everyone? We're welcome back to another episode of Pick'em, which is brought to you by Maggie May Designs, Sharon Naaman Rodan Field, Brandy's Hope, and People's Bank. Jumping right into last week's action, starting with our featured game of the week, which was Summerall taking on Lawrence County. Summerall was undefeated, and they had Dennis Jackson. And unfortunately for them, they suffered their first loss to Lawrence County. All of us chose Lawrence County to win that game, but
nope, y'all chose Summerall.
Yes,
I chose
Summerall. I'm sorry.
I chose Lawrence County. I'm going to go ahead and say Lawrence County defensively handled Dennis Jackson. You don't have to beat Dennis Jackson. You just have to contain him enough. They should rename it to Dennis Jackson High. They have nobody.
Well, I will say from the interviews, it looked like Lawrence County was a little cocky after this win. So
definitely.
I mean, if you beat a 4-star recruit like that, I think you kind of have the right to be cocky. Yeah. But if Dennis Jackson had anybody else around him, this game would have been a different
Summerall was good in this game. Lawrence County was a lot better than I thought. I didn't know Lawrence County was this good of a football team, and I was proven wrong because Dennis Jackson, I was really high on him. I thought he was the best quarterback, maybe one of the best players in 4A period, and I really got bit on that one.
Moving on to the next game, McGee taking on Riley. McGee handled Riley very easily. I had McGee to win this game.
Obviously, I had Riley, but it just shows that Riley's game against Mendenhall was just a one-hit wonder. It was a fluke game, and their season it's tanked, in my opinion.
I'm glad that I flipped my decision. I just figured that this McGee defense would be able to stop them, and we saw that it did.
I went with McGee in this one. It ended up being a good pick.
Yeah, I went with McGee. I knew Riley was very overrated just because they hung in there with Mendenhall. Mendenhall didn't play a good game. Riley played a great game for them. I do want to say McGee's defense is better than what I've been giving it credit for. I don't agree with the scheme, and I think if you have a good pass game, you can beat McGee's defense, but they've gotten really good at stopping quarterbacks and running backs and other things.
Moving on to the next game, you have Simpson Academy taking on Hartfield. This was a no-brainer. Simpson won this game.
Pretty sure the game was over by 8:30.
Yeah, it was.
The Simpson game, it was like 8:45. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
It was a blowout. Simpson won big. We all had Simpson to win. Moving on, Mendenhall taking on Northeast Lauderdale. This was a fun game. This was a great game.
It was extremely close, and I was not expecting it to be. This shows me that Mendenhall might not be as good as I think, and they're definitely not the same offense without Michael Jr.
Me and Grayson specifically have hated on the defense in the past, and everyone's praised this offense, but they couldn't have been clicking correctly.
No.
To only put up 21, and just last seconds, Keyshawn and Christian put the team on their back that night.
You got to give the defense credit for holding them in that game for that long and giving us a chance to win it at the end.
And for Mendenhall not stopping. I will say, I think that Northeast Lauderdale is a team that everyone's sleeping on. I think they've had a tough schedule here lately, and I think they're a good football team.
Obviously, because
Northeast Lauderdale is a good ball club, but it shouldn't have been that close.
Now moving on to this week's games and picks, starting with our featured game of the week, which is Jefferson Davis County taking on Columbia. In my opinion, this is going to be one of the better football games this year. I think this is going to be a hard-fought game. And in the end, though, I'm going to have Jefferson Davis winning in a close one.
I'm going to have to go ahead and go with Columbia, and I'm going to tell you why. This defense right now for Columbia is only allowing 11.8 points per game. They held Ty Keys to only 20 points, the lowest of his season so far. And right now, this offense is averaging 404 rushing yards a game. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, Bo Russell, you got my pick.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. Good things going on there, Mr. Bo. Also, when you have a guy like Jaheim Otis.
Big time player.
Yeah, kind of hard to going to be playing on Saturdays. Kind of hard to go against him. So I'm going to go with Columbia.
JDC's a good ball club, but Columbia's done a lot of good things this year. I got Columbia in this one.
I think y'all are overrating Columbia a little bit. I got JDC in this one. They're a really good football team, and I think one of the best teams in their division. I think they win this game.
Moving on to our next game, McGee taking on St. Andrews. This is a tough one for me. This McGee team, time and time again, I've said we don't know who they are, but they keep winning football games right now, and I'm going to stick with McGee on this one. I think McGee wins this game.
McGee burned me last week picking against him, but I'm going to pick against him again this week. I think St. Andrews is going to be able to come out with the W. They always consistently play McGee good, and I think it'll be another one.
I'm going to go with McGee. Their defense is starting to improve week by week, and I think they win this one easily.
Would you say that Velma Jackson and McGee was a good game?
Yeah, you would. And Velma Jackson right now, they're on up there in 3A.
Well, Velma Jackson beat the St. Andrews team by about 50 points last week, so I definitely have McGee.
I have McGee too. I don't think St. Andrews is good at all, and I think McGee is a pretty good team, a lot more than I gave them credit for earlier in the season. I think they stomped St. Andrews.
Moving on to the next game, Simpson Academy taking on Bowling Green. The Simpson team's hot, and they've stayed hot, so I'm sticking with Simpson in this one.
I'm going to cut you off here, Ray. Do you know where Bowling Green is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is why I choose Bowling Green in this game. Simpson's going to be jet lagged when they get off that bus.
Oh.
Simpson,
I thought he had a real point.
You mean bus lag?
yeah, excuse me, whatever you want to
Where
say.
is
But
Bowling Green?
Simpson, like Louisiana.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're going to take a charter bus. They're going to sleep
all-
halfway there.
Yep.
it's only like an hour and a half to the Louisiana coast. Where is it? Up north? Where? Like,
I think it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
it's not that bad. It's like us going to Meridian.
And we take yellow buses.
I think Bowling Green wins. I think it's a hard-fought game, but I think Bowling Green comes out on top. Not because just the bus ride. I think Bowling Green's a better football team than Simpson.
Bowling Green, I think they're being overlooked for sure. But this Simpson team, they're a way different team than what we had them the first week we did this. They're one of the most dominant teams in MAIS right now running the football, and I think they'll be able to win this game easily.
I mean, I got Simpson. It's hard to pick against Simpson right now. I don't know if it's next week or the next. They got Lamar.
They got Lamar next week.
Next week, well, that'll be a game to watch right there. But
Really,
this
Lamar's
week,
not looking what I thought
Lamar's
they
not
were.
as good as I thought they were, but Lamar's still a high-level private school team. But until that game, I'm going with Simpson.
In my opinion, Simpson wins this game. I don't think it's very close. Simpson is a great football team, and Bowling Green is an average football team, and it just comes down to that. Simpson's better in all parts of the game, so Simpson wins.
Moving on to our last game, the Mendenhall Tigers taking on West Lauderdale. This is homecoming for the Tigers, and in my opinion, this is going to be the toughest matchup that they've had so far and that they will have in the upcoming seasons, or the upcoming games. But right now, I went against Mendenhall at Newton County, and I'm not going to do it again until they lose. I got Mendenhall winning this game.
I want to point out that, we've been saying Michael Jr. would be coming back at West Lauderdale this whole time.
I don't think he's healthy.
I've been hearing murmurs from a lot of people that Michael Jr. will not be back for this game, and maybe not for a while. And I just want everybody to keep that in mind when they're doing their predictions, because I know it had a lot to do with mine. But in the end, I just see, there's not 100% positive that Michael Jr. plays. I think if Michael Jr. does play, that they blow West Lauderdale out. I think they win by over 3 touchdowns. But with Michael Jr. not playing, that offense is going to have to do a lot better than what they did against Northeast Lauderdale, and that's for sure, because the offense was stagnant against them. They couldn't get a run game going, they couldn't get a pass game going. But I think they rebound just like they did against Raleigh. Their defense was bad, they rebounded and had a great defense. And this time their offense was bad, they're going to rebound. Their offense is going to be clicking. They're going to get the pass game going. Keyshawn Collier and Christian Allen are going to connect with some more touchdowns. And Mendenhall wins this game.
Go ahead.
I'll say I'm not going to, like Grace said, I'm not going against Mendenhall until they lose the game. The duo with Christian and Keyshawn right now, it's crazy. Christian still has, I think now, like a 16-0 touchdown interception ratio. Kind of hard to beat that. This offense is rolling. The defense is starting to get back in their rhythm, and I think it's hard to bet against Mendenhall. The only thing defense has to do is shut down. Who is it? Austin Davidson.
Yeah.
And they win this game with ease. I was going to ask Steven.
A couple weeks ago I kept saying that I think I'd probably pick against Mendenhall playing West Lauderdale, but I think this hiccup in the road last week's going to help them more than it hurt them. I think that they're going to come out more motivated than they have the entire season, and I think they're going to be able to rebound. Like Alex said, the defense, Jenkins he's got them right for them to keep their morale the whole game, even when they were down and the offense wasn't doing anything. The stadium's going to be packed. It's going to be homecoming. I expect a dub.
Steven is obviously on the team, so we asked him a few interview-style questions. I'm going to start off. Steven, obviously, the Austin Davison kid from West Lauderdale, he's a great athlete, great football player. What has the coaches and the defense, what have they worked on this week to work on containing him?
Just stayed preaching on assignments. You got to do, West Lauderdale's a good offense. They don't make many mistakes. You just got to stay with your assignment no matter what happens. So.
I want to ask that, it was a very close game against Northeast Lauderdale, a lot closer than what most would expect. And I think the players know that too. They didn't expect it to be that close. Is there any doubt in that locker room of thoughts of maybe that y'all aren't as good as y'all thought y'all were?
No, I definitely don't think there's any doubts. I think that if nothing else, that just motivated us for the rest of the year. I think that, at certain points you have to have a game where you realize that you're not just invincible. And I think that was our game. So I think we take a lot of momentum into Friday night.
I have one final question for you, Steven. I'm pretty sure it's no question that whoever wins this game is going to go on to be district champs in this division. So is it any different mentality at practice, harder working or anything?
I mean, we always work hard, but I don't think there's any mentality. It's a game, but Friday night's a big night no matter what. It's homecoming for us, so we're excited to get out there and play again. So.
All right, now going back over the games real quick, just with our picks, starting with our featured game, JDC taking on Columbia. I got JDC in this one.
Like I said, Columbia, it's going to be a dub.
Defense is good, and it's hard to bet against a dude like Seghini Otis.
Defense wins championships, Columbia.
I think the offense will beat the defense in this one, JDC.
Well, this offense has 400 rushing yards a game.
Right, but that tells me that they're pretty one-dimensional. I think JDC will be able to stop that.
Moving on to McGee taking on St. Andrews. I got McGee in this one.
What'd you say?
McGee and St. Andrews.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I did not check the last week's game.
It was 62-7.
I just knew they were 5-2 before that, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip my pick.
I shouldn't have said it.
I just looked it up and they lost 62-17. So McGee's gonna be able to beat them soundly.
Okay, so everyone has McGee.
Everybody has McGee.
Yeah. Moving on, Simpson taking on Bowling Green. I think right now it's hard to bet against this Bowling Green or this Simpson Academy team, and I've got Simpson winning.
Simpson, they're cocky, and I love it. They're gonna be able to beat Bowling Green.
Bowling Green.
Simpson all day.
Simpson wins. Not close.
Moving on, Mendenhall taking on West Lauderdale. Unanimous.
Mendenhall. But this is going to be a very close game. I think this is the best game on this list because West Lauderdale is really good. Mendenhall's dealing with a lot of injuries. Hoping Michael Jr. comes back. If he comes back, he's going to complete that offense once again and reestablish a good running game.
We've seen how the game was last year when it was for the district championship, and I think it goes without question that in this district it is the district championship.
Got equipment.
Well, that's going to do it for all of us here at GroupCast Sports. Want to thank our sponsors, Brandy's Hope, People's Bank, Maggie Made Designs, and Sharon Amon Rodan and Fields. If you haven't yet, go to our social medias on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Like us, subscribe to us. That's how we get all our content out there. Also, be sure to be looking out this week for a new episode of Player Insider with Ethan and Alex. And also, me and Randy are going to have an interview with Coach Derek Jenkins, the Mendenhall High School defensive coordinator. So be sure to be looking out for that. Like we said, I want to thank you guys for watching, and be sure to tune in next week.